I think this is probably in many ways the most important amendment that we have tabled as part of this bill, and it's one that has got the most attention, because it is a huge step forward that we have such a comprehensive animal health and welfare bill being put through the House here today. I think all of us would agree that a lot of its provisions are going to represent a substantial step forward in terms of animal welfare in this state. And it's against that backdrop that the very fact that the practice of hare coursing is being excluded from the protections of this bill is just such an absolute gaping anomaly. It's a contradiction. In essence, what we're doing is recognising that the practice itself is inherently cruel, but then we are allowing it to continue. And I think we have to say that this is something which Ireland is now one of the last remaining countries in the world to allow the practice of hare coursing. It's been banned in England, Scotland, Wales, most recently in Northern Ireland, and it is something which I and a majority of Irish citizens consistently in opinion polls believe is an outdated practice which has no part in a modern Ireland. And that's not just an opinion. It's actually been verified by the facts that are taking place on the ground, where participation in coursing clubs is dramatically declining over the past number of years, and as each season happens, in actual fact the numbers involved are getting less and less. Census figures released in 1935 revealed that there were over 219 coursing clubs in Ireland. Today there's less than 90. And that amount is continually in decline. It is a practice which is carried out maybe in about 10 counties in Ireland. The only part in Dublin where it's actually carried out is in my own constituency, but nonetheless I think it is something which has no part. And I think information which was circulated to all of us over the past period, which shown that drag coursing, and a very successful drag coursing event took place, negates any argument which used to traditionally be put forward that, oh, you're losing an interest in this sport, people who love greyhounds don't get a chance to exercise and compete with their dogs. That argument is an absolute nonsense. We do not need hare coursing to continue for dogs to be exercised or to compete in this manner, and successful drag coursing events in Ireland have actually proved that circumstance and negate that argument, and I think that is something that the Minister has to take on board. In actual fact, it would do far better for our tourism to not have this barbarity continuing and to replace it with the form of drag coursing rather than it being a negative. I think we've heard an awful lot over the years to justify hare coursing. Ridiculous arguments, in my mind, all of which can be defeated. Nonsense like, well, sure, look, at the hares are being looked after and they're being protected, and that's what the coursing clubs do. Let's be clear here. These animals are picked up, snatched from their environment, kept to be chased by dogs, sustain massive injuries, which I'm not going to read into the record because we've done it before, in coursing events around the country. They do not enjoy it. And the fact that the organisers don't plan the death, that it's just an unfortunate byproduct, is not really a reason for it to continue. I don't accept the arguments that it's a traditional sport in Ireland. It actually came in from the British garrisons actually introduced the sport, wrong name there, but introduced it into Ireland, so it's not a traditional Irish activity. And just because something is traditional doesn't mean that it's acceptable. Standards in society move on, and things which were the norm before become unacceptable as time moves on. I mean, previous societies used to have freak shows when they paraded people with disabilities and people who look different in the so-called name of entertainment.